learn about the rural poverty. Before we proceed, let me give you an overview of what is rural poverty. The concept of poverty is measured on the basis of prevailing the standard of living in a country as lack of income needed to acquire the minimum or basic necessity of life. It is multidimensional in terms of deprivation in income, malnutrition, illiteracy, and so on. Basically, rural poverty refers to the poverty happen in rural area, including the rural society, rural economy, and also rural political system. Most of the people in rural area become poverty because they have unstable income. This is because most of them depend more on the agriculture sector, and that is why they don't have a flexible income. For example, the farmer who works at the paddy field will only get income during the harvesting yields. Usually the paddy can be harvested twice a year. That is why they didn't have a flexible income. They only can gain the income during the harvesting process. In addition, the poor people in the rural area also lack access to the proper infrastructure and facility such as hospitals, schools, proper road, and so on. That is why they remain poverty as compared to those who live in urban area. To give you better understanding, let me show you an illustration and a short story of what is rural poverty.
Once upon a time, there is a girl named Aisha who lived with her family in a rural area. Aisha and her family live in a very poor condition and she has more family members. One day, she got an offer to further her studies and she needed to tell her mother about the offer. "Mother, I got an offer letter to further my study. I am so happy," said Aisha. Aisha's mother is the only breadwinner of the family since her father is sick. Their family had a very low income since her mother only worked at the paddy field. "Congratulations, but I'm so sorry, daughter, because we cannot afford to pay all the expenses." Aisha is so disappointed because she cannot further her study since her family cannot afford to pay all the expenses. But Aisha cannot show her disappointment in front of her mother since she understands her family condition. One day, Aisha brings her father to the clinic to do a medical checkup. A medical assistant at the clinic stated that they need to go to the hospital because the clinic does not have enough facilities to do a medical checkup. But they cannot go because they have no transportation and also enough money.
There are several causes that lead to the rural poverty. Okay, for the first causes is lack of infrastructure. Okay, this condition happen when the rural area did not have enough facility in order for them to use in their daily life. Okay, the lack of infrastructure such as road, bridge, hospitalized, and school. Okay, can you imagine that if they need to go to the work, but there is no road for them to go there. Okay, for the second causes is unstable income. Okay, this situation happen when the household only afford or only provide their basic necessity rather than to fulfill their satisfaction because of they only depending on the agriculture sector rather than the secondary sector, because the agriculture sector is their main income or resources in order to gain more profit in their daily life. Okay, for the third
For the third causes is unbalanced development between urban and rural area. Okay, this situation happen when the government only focus on the urbanization, on only urban, to make some development, because they think that the rural cannot attract more tourists to their place, because the government focus on the urban is because the government think that the urban might be attract more tourists to their places, because the rural area, if the tourists go to the rural area, they cannot go there, because it's they are having difficulty in order to go to the rural area, because the rural area do not have any internet connection, so they cannot make some communication between them. Okay, just now I have mentioned that three causes that may lead to the rural poverty, which is lack of infrastructure, unstable income, and unbalanced development between rural and urban area.
Strategies to combat the causes. So the first strategies to combat rural poverty is by providing job opportunities. In order to combat rural poverty, government must open or provide more job opportunities to those who live in rural area. For example, IMPAC. IMPAC is an acronym from Sustainable Community Initiative Program. It was led by Majlis Amanah Rakyat, which is MARA, and it was launched in 2018 with the aim to open employment opportunities for youth who live in rural area. So basically, this program will be participated by 70 companies across the country. So the second strategy is modernization. So modernization is about the process of economic development. It also can be explained as the changes from traditional to modern society. Basically, when we talk about modernization, it also can be seen in terms of agriculture. This is where the changes from the traditional to modern method. For example, the use of technology like a drone. So the farmers will use the drone to take a look at the plant condition from the above, and the drone also will provide details information about the plant condition to the farmers. So the next strategy is by providing better infrastructure. Infrastructure is very important in order to develop rural area. This is where if the people access to better infrastructure, they also will be access to better facilities. Infrastructure such as road, water supply, and also power is a basic and also is a very important infrastructure for the people, especially to those who live in rural area.
After a few years later, the government had implemented some strategies in order to combat poverty in rural area. For example, the government do a modernization, provide better infrastructure, offer more job opportunities, and so on. After the implementations of the strategies, Aisha's mother finally have a better income. Aisha also can further her studies since her family now can afford to pay all the expenses. Besides, the government also give a scholarship to her. After a graduation, Aisha finally had a better job. Aisha now become a breadwinner in her family. Aisha's father also can do a medical checkup since there is a better infrastructure in the rural area. And finally, they live happily ever after with a better condition. The end.
Hi, just now you have watched the video on how government use strategy to combat the issue of poverty, especially in rural area. Now we move on with the factors that hinder government strategy in combating issue of poverty in rural area. First factors is because of the mindset of the rural people itself. They cannot and did not want to move from using traditional way to modern way, especially in agriculture. For example, they did not want to use modern technology like machine, tractor to use their or to make their agriculture activities become more easy and can collect more harvest for their crop. Because they feeling comfortable using the traditional way. And second factors that hinder government strategy is the migrant that work as foreign labor in our country, because these people, they have a difficult time to adapt and adopt with our policy. That is why government having difficult time to combat the issue of poverty. And the third factors is because of budget constraint. Budget constraint happen when taxpayer did not want to pay for their tax, especially in income tax. Most of them did not be responsible with the tax that they should pay for their income, and this is make harder for the government to allocate money in the budget of government.
Hello guys, so in this video we have highlight 3 main ideas about rural poverty. First is the causes of rural poverty, second, strategies to eradicate the rural poverty, and the third one is the factor that hinder the effort of the government to eradicate the rural poverty. So in this video we have illustrate how Aisha family members suffer to become a rural poverty family, and how their life after the government have made some strategies to eradicate the rural poverty. So we can see that Aisha family become more better. For example, is Aisha can pursue her study in university and also can get a better job, and then her father also become more healthy. Okay, and we very hope that you guys enjoy watching the video and also gain more understanding about what is actually the rural poverty.